One.
Good afternoon. We're with you again today. We have an exciting gentleman that has put a lot of time into theater. Had the first Black Rep Theater here in the Sacramento area. Travels every other year to Winston-Salem to the Black Theater Festival. Has just done enormous things. Worked at City, now he's working at Cal State Sacramento. I want to introduce none other than Mr. Michael Benjamin. Good afternoon, Mr. Benjamin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Withrow.
How you doing today?
Man, life is good.
I heard that. Well, Mr. Benjamin, a lot of people don't realize how long you've been in Sacramento and the things you've done in Sacramento. Would you give us a little background on yourself?
Well, I'm from Fresno, California. We moved up to Sacramento in 1960. Matter of fact, February 14, 1960, which was Valentine's Day. And my mother, God bless her soul, she was one of the best theater persons I ever met in my life. I had two sisters that are older than me. One was named Beverly, after Beverly, California. The other was named Glendale, after Glendale, California. And then they told my mother, Vi, you're going to have to kind of slow down a little bit about this Hollywood venture you're trying to go on to. And my mother said, well, you know, I'm just trying to make it. So I came along, I was the third child. And I said that to say this, as I went through high school, went to American Legion Elementary, went to Stanford Junior High School, went to Sac High, went to Sac City, went to Sac State, came back and worked at Sac City for about 25 years in the theater. And then I Dorothy and I decided to build a theater called the Sacramento Repertory Theater. And then I got into the Sacramento Stagehand, and so I'm almost like a breed of Sacramento, though I was from Fresno, and we were trying to do theater for the community at large. And I said that to say this, that my mother, after 31 years, they had an audition for a movie called Fortune Dame, I believe it was, and she got the role. Carl Weathers played Carl Weathers' mother in this movie, and basically what I'm saying, it took her 31 years to get in her first movie. 31 years! But
that's
not
still a blessing.
Yeah, it is. And so that's kind of what so I've been in theater ever since, and I started in 1967. I started theater in 1967 at Sac City College, and you know, as I say, my hands kind of caught up with my brain, and the rest is history. So theater is something I always wanted to do. So
you've been in all forms of theater, from developing the written plays,
yes, to
producing and directing,
yes,
and also to developing the scenes of the
actual play. Yeah, I guess my forte. I love directing, but technical theater is what I do best because, as my instructor used to say, you got to eat. If you want to eat, you have to do technical theater. So I've been doing that ever since. But I love directing because I see characters all the time in my head, and it's something that my mother instilled in me and throughout my life. And she was very poetic, she's an excellent writer. So she made sure that I stayed in focus, you know, in terms of theater. So it's something, Mr. Withrow, that we do all the time in theater. We have to always keep our craft in check so that we always are learning. It's a learning process throughout, you know, the years of just actually, you know, showing people this is what you do, this is how you put a play together. And by having a technical background, then I'm able to see doors, windows, atmosphere, whatever it is that make the play work.
So you also build the sets?
Yes, I build the sets because that's important. As my mother used to say all the time, that, you know, you have to be, there's only two things we like to do in theater, and that's eat and be entertained. So when she said that, I said, oh, okay. So when I got into the set building, I try to keep the set busy, keep it going, and you know, so when the actors or the audience see the actors on stage, they say, oh, okay, they're in Raising the Sun, or they're in Starry None But a Hole in Heaven, or they're in Fences. So it kind of, the stage kind of sets up the mood for the production. So I mean, it's great. I mean, wow.
So now, when did you open the first Black Rep Theater in Sacramento?
In 1978, on 7th Avenue and Stockton Boulevard. 3116 Stockton Boulevard, and we call it the Rep. And that's an interesting thing you talked about. For years, when I opened the SAC Rep, I was trying to bring the community together. That's something, and I always wanted to, I wanted us to have a place to, to be creative, to be focused. Like when you were there, during Black History Month, that was something that, was very vital to the community. So, I just thought that we needed a place, to really show our talent. And I think you did an excellent job along with your students, from McClatchy and Sac High and the community at large, to give these kids an opportunity. And some of them, they haven't forgotten that throughout the years. And they became famous people. They became very community oriented. So it's something that I always wanted to see happen in the community. So
now, I understand you had more than one Black Rep Theater.
Yeah, Dorothy and I ran that first one from 1978 to about 86, and then we went looking for another theater on Lawrence Drive and Stockton Boulevard, and we called that the second Rep. And once again, I was trying to build this theater out of with my own little money that I had per se, to just to give us a bigger place to showcase our talent. And I think you did once again a great job of bringing the students and helping me try and formulate that to make that theater what it is, what it was at the time. So I appreciate that.
Well, it's always our pleasure to be a part of any community event. And I learned a long time ago, if you don't get the kids involved as youngsters, then quite often they won't get involved as adults.
Right.
Now, I know that you did the Rep, but you also said you worked at City for 20 years.
25 years.
So 25 years.
Yes.
So now, what are some of the types of things that you did in theater as far as City College is concerned?
Well, my first 10 years, I just mainly did the technical, built the show, built the sets, and the theater with this guy named Jerry Sutherland. And then they asked me to teach an acting class called, I called it Afro-American Theater. And in that class itself, I took plays that were written by Black playwrights, and your poetry, did a whole session on your poetry one semester. And so in that class, I gave all these students a chance to grow and to be directors, be playwrights, be whatever, light designers, sound designers. And with Crystal Wilson, as we all know, who was in Players Club, came out of that class. And she was, once I took that raw talent and made it work for her, she went on and did other things in other movies. But that's what that class was about, because it wasn't anything for Afro-American students at the time. And I had that class for about 10 years, I believe, and just trying to push students out in the world, let them know that plays can change people's lives if the right messages were given. Like in your particular case, when I did your poems, and I had them all read as characters your parts and memorize, and we acted it out throughout that whole semester. By them working on that, they became very positive, because the message that you gave in your poetry was very positive. So that itself was a rewarding, semester for the students, and they loved it. They loved every minute, because your pieces are very strong in terms of, hey, this is what you need to be. Ebony Queen. To be somebody. I think that should be in the archives in Washington D.C. somewhere. But it's gonna happen. But that's what I was about.
Well, I just appreciate you thinking enough of me to use my work and make that part of your class.
Right.
Now, so we've talked about the Rep.
Right.
We've talked about City College.
Right.
Now, I understand that you're at Sac State doing some work now.
That is a dream come true. And what I mean by that is, once I open the Rep, things happen. We all sometimes, we fall in grace, but when we get up and we keep moving, it took me 10 years to get back into the theater world at Sac State. Linda Goodridge and Ron Reisner gave me that opportunity. It took me almost 10 years to the day. And not only did I start teaching stagecraft again, but I was also able to work in the shop where I started in 1969.
All right.
It was like and I said that to say this. I also in that from '08 to the present time, was able to work with the instructor Larry Shoemate, my living legend professor. I had an opportunity to work with him for 2 years side by side, which meant 40 years later, I'm still working with the person that taught me everything in the technical theater, and I just could not believe it. I told somebody, don't pinch me, just let me live. I don't want to be. And he has that same creativity that he had when I was a student. So I was kind of like a little protege or whatever you want to say with him. I couldn't believe it. I mean, he had the same energy, and so I just been blessed because that's what I'm about. And the students that I've worked with in that class, they loved it because I told them it's all about them. It's not about me. It's about them. You know, I want them to understand about life and how to put things together on the stage, and they're very appreciative with that. So hey, life is good. So
well, tell us about some of the famous people you work with. I know you work with Ella. I saw you.
Oh, Ella Joyce, man, Howard Williams, Dick Anthony Williams, August Wilson, Andre DeShields, Phyllis Dickley. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And Bird, Petrie Bird. Everybody knows these people that I've had a chance to deal with at the National Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem, which happens every other year. And this will be my 25th year attending this festival. And it's really a good shot in the arm because it makes you want everybody to come back, those who are in theater, and give back to the community. Woody King, Ron Milner, Nshange. I mean, I can go on and on about these wonderful people, and they're real live, and they're real honest, and they got a good spirit about themselves. Regardless of what you hear on TV and see in the paper and in the choir or whatever, but these people have good hearts, and they mean well. They mean well. So I try to bring that same energy back to Sacramento so that they too, being the students or whomever, to get that same kind of love, because it's about growing. It's about going to the next level in the theater world. And the only way we're going to get there is we have to give back, and be honest about it, be fair about it. So that's why I think those people that I work with at the festival have given me that insight on, like, this is what life is about. So.
And what are some of the plays that you've done?
Oh, I've done. My favorite show is Piano Lesson by August Wilson.
Okay.
Raised in the Sun. A Star None But Hole in Heaven. Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope. The Meeting with Malcolm and Martin. There's just so many that I had the opportunity to direct. Christmas Coming Uptown, the black version. Like I said, Amen Corner. I mean, just so many wonderful plays out there with these black playwrights and other playwrights. And I have to say that I did 25 years of Shakespeare at William Land Park. So I've been on, like you were saying earlier, I've been on both sides of the fence. I'm not afraid to touch the other side because you learn by doing. And I think that's where my strong point, I learned by doing. And in the system that I was in, obviously there's probably one black show a semester at Sac State or Sac City. And so what I did when I opened the rep, just to go back a little bit, I was doing a black show every 6 weeks for the people, so that, like I said, a lot of lives were touched. So that's kind of where I am. And at Sac State, I try to share that information with the students of tomorrow to let them know that there's another side of theater. And and once again, I love the fact that I'm there to give back.
And you do give back. And I think the community knows it. They see you. It's hardly anywhere you can go if it's an event, and Mike Benjamin is not at least part of it.
Right.
I know one of your good friends was Sam Pinnell.
Oh, yes.
Who was a city councilman who passed away in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And I remember when he didn't have a stage, mm-hmm. you built a stage for the concert, didn't you?
Yeah, we did the Meadowview Festival. Yeah, that was an interesting piece because Sam, he trusted me to do whatever and to be honest with him and tell him, Mike, I think they're trying to beat me. They trying to take all my money. I said, wait, hold on, Sam, let me see what's going on. So I was able to kind of get him focused on the technical end, and that festival was one of the best festivals in Sacramento to this day. Because once again, when you're emceeing with these famous musicians, with who's that? Earth, Wind and Fire, and
we've
Spinners, and I mean, and those shows were great, but it took people like Sam and people who really believed in making sure that Sacramento was on the map in terms of entertainment. Because when they had the Martin Luther King celebration every December in Sacramento, Dorothy and I went to North Carolina to a festival, and Sam asked me, because before he voted, do whatever, to ask me if was there any entertainment out there that will help Sacramento grow, and I said yes. And so I helped bring those entertainers in, Dwop Love and Woody King, who was helped me put this program together. And from that's what it was about. And hopefully we can pick that back up and run with it again, because we need to keep communicating with each other. And sometimes entertainment is the only way if it's done right. It has to be done right. That's why I like what you do in the community, because you're out there giving your heart and your soul to get people to recognize positive energy. It's all about positive energy, and I think theater has that. And once again,
now I remember working with you a few years ago, and you did a Stevie Wonder play,
yes,
a musical you had written. Tell us a little about that and how you came up with that concept.
Well, Stevie wrote this album called "Song Key of Life."
Songs to the Key of Life.
Song the Key of Life, and all the songs in there had a message about life, like Saturn, living 2,250 years, no crime, no problem. I Wish. And I thought it took me about 15 years to write it to a certain point so it can be performed on the stage, because I kept doing rewrites, and then I had the opportunity to go to your school, McClatchy, and produce this play with Ed Johnson and John King, and because I wanted the message to be conveyed through Stevie's music. So one of these days I'll do it over again, but it's that kind of play where it needs to be done continuously because of the message. I Wish, Ebony, the song. So there's a lot of sweet songs,
positive
message about life, and the songs told the story. And I think that's what needs to happen. Just like this play I did by Mickey Grant called "Nice to Be Civilized." Who's gonna teach the children? I mean, songs that were very positive, and I think that's how we gonna get to the next level, by continuing doing real positive poems, positive plays, positive songs, because that's what life is based on. We already heard enough negativity. We see that all the time, but in order for us to grow, we have to stay positive. And that's what I like about what you did and how you work along with what I have to use you as that person, role model, because everything you say is about the next level, and this is how we're going to grow young people, older people, because that's how I envision the world being. Because when I took whatever I had and tried to do the second theater with no grants or what have you, I was able to do what I could for the moment, but I never lost sight on reality. And sometimes you need help on the back end, everybody, spirituality or whatever it takes to get you to that level. Because sometimes we'll find fault in other things, but I never found fault in anything. I just took a chance to try to make it happen for us. So I hope that people out there that are listening to this and understanding what I'm saying is, don't be afraid to step out.
Now, I've also seen you go into the classrooms.
Oh, yeah.
You have this little thing that you've made to teach young people that there's more to the world than just being in front of the camera. You show them about the technical things behind the camera.
Yeah.
So tell me a little about that.
Well, what I like doing with young people now that I've gotten older is taking like a television set, gut it out, and putting lighting systems in there. I'll show you how to make a little lighting system, and I'll build little sets, because we, as a people, we need more technical people out there learning how to do this. And so I have this little program where you can actually learn how to design. I love designing, how to build construction, how to build little sets, how to do little scale models of a set, and in other words, taking it off of paper and making it really come in a 3D fashion. So, you know, in that little television, I can show any kid or child how to make that thing come to life. And those of you out there want to see me do it, just get a hold of Mr. Withrow, and we'll make it happen for you at your school or whatever community. Because this little set that I make out of these televisions are unbelievable, and they're real simple and creative, so that you get an idea what you want to do, and you know. So
now I know you are a creative gentleman because I've seen some of the things you've done. You've also designed something for some pitchers of baseball. Would you tell me a little about the baseball?
Are you talking about my lamps?
No, not the lamps yet.
Oh.
The hitting, is it a hitting tee or for the pitchers?
Oh yeah, yeah. I made a. It's like a little tire on. Matter of fact, a guy, wherever you are, Greg Vaughn and all those baseball players at Sac City, and when it was on a pole and it had a tire on it, and when they would hit the head of that bat on that tire, it would rotate around instead of just having it stiff. And I think a lot of those guys, yeah, they're fun guys, went on into the pro baseball organization, playing for Milwaukee and, you know, St. Louis and what have you. But that thing, and this guy named Weinstein at the time, let them use it. And they used it for years and years and years while I was playing the national anthem on my saxophone on top of the pitcher's mound. They would use this thing, and we had a blast with this little apparatus. Because I like inventing things, just to invent. I mean, they work, but they're real unique little, I call them toys or apparatus or devices that people can use to better themselves and to better their children. And it gives them something positive to work with. So, yeah, I like, that was a neat little baseball.
Yeah. And I know you designing lamps now. We're going to bring you back another show to talk about your lamps. So
okay.
just throw a little pitch in for them now, though.
Well,
tell me what the lamps are like.
Before I do that, can I just talk a little bit about my little perfect pitch? I mean,
yes,
my perfect snap. And it's for all you future quarterbacks.
Okay.
I had the Mountain Lions use this thing. It's called a quarterback snap. It's for quarterbacks and wide receivers, whomever. And like I said, I like inventing toys and stuff like that to enhance and to get you ready, young people, for the future. So I have these little lamps that he was referring to. I've cut out like Obama's and Willie Mays's, Matt Cain's, and so they're real unique. And Dr. Lee's lamp for him, because he's been a wonderful person in the community. Matter of fact, it's their 50th anniversary this year, from 62.
But now we have to tell who Dr. Lee is.
He is the co-owner of the Sacramento Observer newspaper in Sacramento, California, and they kind of cater to the black leaders in the community at large, as well as the nation. But it's mainly a paper that really get us inspired and read about what we're about and what people are doing, what churches are doing, what communities are doing, what high schools, all of this. So with that said, I think that it's a newspaper that I think everybody should tribute to and read and just be part of the big picture. So in saying that, by Dr. Lee giving these awards and trying to just help the community at large, I made this lamp for him and his wife, Mrs. Lee, so that they can just have something to light up their world, to light up their life. And so that's kind of where I am. So I've been making these lamps for people. They're unique in their own little way, but that's something that Mr. Withrow said we can talk about later. But I just want to share that with you.
I think Mr. Benjamin is so talented that we can't just do one show. We're going to have to come back with another podcast with you to get some more information and share some more of the things. I'd also, at the next time, like for you to talk about your family and the tradition of the girls going to Howard University or your family making that tradition.
My daughters.
And how many siblings you have, what you came from and how the siblings are doing. So we're going to make that the next show.
Okay.
So we may do 2 shows in a row
Lord.
with Mr. Benjamin to keep it going in its direction. We want to thank you, Mr. Benjamin, for coming out today.
Okay.
Always great talking to you, spending time with you, visiting with you. And every time I think about you, I think about the day I met you at the breakfast place and we cut the tree down. So, Mike and I have plenty of positive things that we've done together, only positive things. I don't know about anything negative.
Right.
But again, Mike, do you have a website or do you have an email where people could contact you?
I got an email, Gemini mvb@comcast.net.
Say it one more time.
Gemini MV, like in victory, B @comcast.net. That's my email address. I don't have a website yet. I'm not as famous as Mr. Withrow yet, but anyway. but anyway, just we can talk and you can, whatever, because I think that I just want to share what knowledge I have. As we used to say in the old days, we're on the other side. But it's been a pleasure in speaking with you about my little endeavors that I'm trying to create in this, in this world, in this society, because as a writer, Woody Jolly once says, if you're gone, you can't take it with you. They'll never know what happened. So you need to get it out there now so that people can understand that there's opportunities out there, because a dream ain't nothing but a dead lie.
All right, we'll sign off again today, reminding you that my website is poetfrankwithrow.com. Please stay in touch, please stay with us, and please enjoy the things that we bring to you.